Welcome to the Happy Pepper channel. David here with an August 2019 pepper grow update. Along the side of the garage here I've got a half a dozen red habaneros, and most of them are doing pretty well. They're pretty loaded up. None have begun to ripen yet. This one here is starting to change colors a little bit. Sorry if the wind is a little interfering with the audio, but kind of windy out here today. But the plants are doing well, doing healthy. Couldn't be happier with how they're doing. Last year the red habaneros seemed to take a long time to ripen, but they did load up pretty well and ended up with a pretty good harvest. This one here on the end is actually an overwintered that I stuck in the ground. Some rabbits got to it, and I didn't think that it was going to make it, but it ended up bouncing back pretty well, and we've got some really nice pods. So couldn't be happier with that one. Let's take a look around back and see what's happening. So we're around back here on the north side of the backyard. I've got an ornamental plant here. Not really doing a whole lot. Looks like we've got a pollinator in the works here. Pretty cool. We've got a bumblebee there doing its job. Again, pretty windy out here, so it looks like we got a couple of pods that fell off. But basically this area here is some jalapenos, which are not really doing very well. Another ornamental right here. But I do have some jalapenos. A couple of decent sized jalapenos. This plant here is doing better, probably the best of the bunch. A whole bunch of them loaded up down there. This one back here is a red jalapeno. These are really enormous pods, but they do take quite some time to ripen up, and not a whole lot happening on these others, although there are some in there. Really kind of bummed out about this red safety Scotch bonnet. This was an enormous plant, which was just completely loaded up, and we had quite some strong winds that came through, busted the plant up pretty good, and I lost a ton of pods here. Here was just an extra King Star Lemon Starburst I thought I'd stick in the ground. He's really been struggling, hasn't been doing a whole lot. There are some small pods underneath. Don't know if they're going to make it to full maturity, but we'll see what happens. Over here we've got a sweet pepper, a golden baby bell. This guy here also struggled quite a bit. There are some pods in here. They're very small and taking quite some time to ripen. I only got one off the plant. You can see it's pretty windy out here today. This here is a white mini habanero, a mini white habanero, and you can see it is loaded up, and I've got some small pods that are just now beginning to ripen, so I'm thinking that we're going to have quite a nice harvest off this one. Got some sage here and some Thai basil, some chives, some opal basil. Now this whole area here is just really a jungle. Last year I had 6 plants deep. This year I went with 4 because last year it was just so dense. But as you can see, even with 4 deep, it's still incredibly dense. Got a couple chocolate habaneros back. Wow, this bee is really just following me around here, but pretty cool. Got a couple of chocolate habaneros back there. There are some pods, nothing ripening yet. This is really just all different varieties of habaneros, orange habaneros. Down the way here we've got some purple pumpkin, some big Thai, which I'm looking forward to these. A little concerned about them, but they're doing pretty well. A couple of overwintered. That's actually a Carolina Reaper in a small pot, and a hot Thai in a small pot. Over here we've got some cayenne next to the big Thai, and there are some, I mean, they're pretty loaded up. Some ripe pods there. I'm going to have to get out this weekend and do some harvesting. Here we've got a ahi rainforest, and man, I mean, these are just completely loaded up. They are taking forever to ripen, but as you can see, they are beginning to ripen. So we'll have to see what we get here. We'll take you for a little walk around the perimeter of the patio and see what's going on. So here we are on the perimeter of the patio. We've got a couple of white peach, and these plants are really loaded up, not ripening as of yet. Next to that, we've got a few ahi mango, and I have harvested a few, although again, everything seems to be really taking quite a long time to come to maturity and ripen. But a little patience, exercise a little patience, and we'll be all right. I've got an ahi sunrise F4. This was from Chris M, and got some sun blush on there. I think that's what that's called. Got a couple of ripe pods here, but again, this one's loaded up. The one next to it here actually got wiped out from a storm the weekend that Charles P. came to visit for the Chi-Town Hot Sauce Expo. Say hello, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Dave. How's it going, man? I'm hanging out here with my buddy Charles. We just met after being friends for like 4 years. Fabulous day here in Pepper World.
Awesome. Thumbs up.
You guys have fun down in front? I usually chew gum, but today, since it's the Hot Sauce Festival, I go cinnamon fire. And the logo is Keep On Sucking. Been doing that for 30 years. Why stop now? Hey, you gotta check out the Anthrax beer, man. This stuff is amazing. Very good stuff. For my friends over at Gumcraft Beer, go check it out when you can. Alright, got one more song for you people at Hot Sauce Festival. We're out. This is called War Pigs.
patio umbrella fell as a result of the high winds and took this plant out. I left it. Guess I could have pulled it, but I thought I'd just leave it alone. Here's the third, and you can see a little bit different phenotype on this one as opposed to that one. This is more of a round type pheno, where the others are longer on the other plant. Next to that, we've got, we're going to start getting into the Kang Star. I call it Kang Star's Corner, but we've got a couple of stargazer plants here. Not really sure, the tag got a little washed away, so I'm not really sure what I've got here. We'll just have to play it by ear and see what we get. We got a Darth Maul here. I really like the color on these Darth Mauls. Got other Kang Star varieties. Really not sure. Mystery Orange, I believe, is what these are here. Got 4 of those. Got some peach scotch bonnets in here. Nice big pods. This plant, I don't know if this is coming through very well, but this plant's pretty loaded up. Some nice sized pods. Got 4 Kang Star Lemon Starburst here with a white peach in the back there. Again, you know, these are pretty well loaded up, doing pretty well. These here in the ground are taking a little bit longer to ripen, as opposed to the ones in my sub-irrigation planters 4 and 5 gallon double buckets, and we'll get to those shortly. Here we have the these are the peach forget what those are. Peach variety. This plant appears to be getting beat up pretty good by what could be a hornworm or some other pest, but I haven't been able to find the cause, but still seems to be doing okay. We've got more peach pods here. Again, all of my labels have kind of gotten washed off by the rain and the weather out here, but again, loaded up here. We've got some Staracha bonnet. I can read that tag. Got 3 here, some decent sized pods. I don't know if you can see that very well with the glare and the wind and everything. More Kang Star varieties. I really apologize that I can't tell you what these are, but again, the tags just got washed off by the rain. Got some orange naga here. Got 3 orange naga plants in the ground here. They're loaded up pretty good, but really taking a long time to ripen as opposed to the one that I have in the double bucket back there, and we'll get to that in just a moment. We've got a couple of Fresnos. I was worried about these guys because they really weren't doing anything, and then all of a sudden they took off, and the size of the pods are just really amazing. I've harvested quite a few of these already, and they're really quite good. Got some ahi lemon drops here. These plants are just completely loaded up, and I've been picking some pods off of it, but really quite loaded up. I think we're going to have quite the harvest for these. We're getting into the ghost pepper now. This is a regular boot, red ghost. Got some peach ghost plants here. Really some super big pods. All of these doing really quite well. We've got some chocolate ghost. We've got some William Beckham golden ghost in here. Again, just really kind of loaded up and doing well. but a bit crowded. A big boy tomato plant right there. Here we have the Rob Blumberg's yellow jackets, and these plants are really healthy and doing well, but they're really not loading up much with fruit, so not sure what's going on. The one in the back here, looks like we've got some better sized pods coming up there. Got some Santa Fe Grandes, which are looking pretty good here. We just have 2 of those, the other ones didn't survive. Got some pepperoncinis. I've been picking these have been really tasty to snack on. Got 3 of those plants. Not super productive, but I mean the size of these pods are crazy. It's wonderful. Probably some of my favorite plants that I'm growing out this year. I've got 3 Buena Mulata. These things I didn't think were going to make it at all. They really got wiped out early on with the winter. The hardening off process rather. Sorry, the hardening off process, and I didn't think that they were going to make it. In fact, I thought that they were going to die. But these have ended up being my most productive plants. They're just so productive. I'm constantly picking these, and they just continue to flower and produce fruit. Let's take a walk on the patio and see what's happening in the sub-irrigation planters. Okay guys, well here we've got a Black Panther, and these have been really slow going, but just recently they've really begun to kind of explode and load up here. First time growing these, so I'm not really sure what to expect at all. But I do like the color, the purple color of the stems, the branches, the foliage. Next to it is the Darth Maul, another slow grower, slow producer, but again within the last couple of weeks starting to load up pretty nice with pods. So see what we end up with here. Really looking for the red and black tones of these phenos, these pods, when they come to maturity. Here we have Indian Carbon. I believe Goham sent me the seeds for the Indian Carbon, and although this plant is doing well and pretty well loaded up, kind of slow moving in terms of pods ripening up. Next to it, another Goham plant sent me the seeds for this Carbonero, and we've got quite a few pods on here, some ripening up as well. So looking forward to trying those when they come to full ripening. Got a peach Scotch bonnet here. I've been picking a lot of pods off of this plant, and it just continues to produce beautiful, really beautiful big peach Scotch bonnets. Really kind of happy with how this one's coming along. Here's a King Star Sriracha bonnet, likewise as well. This plant has just been a crazy super producer with beautiful, beautiful big bonnets, Sriracha bonnets. I picked them and they just continue to produce, so really super excited about that. Next to it here in the corner on the patio is the King Star Lemon Starburst Contest plant, and I forget, I posted up on MeWe how many I'm up to. I don't expect to be a contender. Looks like we had a bad one here. Got something going on there. Don't expect to be in the running, but I got to tell you, I'm really happy to have this plant. I have been harvesting some pods. I've got the count up on MeWe and been enjoying snacking on these. Next to it is the King Star White Thai. First time growing this plant, and this thing has been just a crazy producer, and I love the flavor, the heat. I snack on these on a daily basis, and as fast as I pick them is as fast as this plant produces, it seems. Just a wonderful, crazy producer, delicious pepper. Next to it here is the orange naga, and this plant seemed to struggle, but I tell you, it's doing a lot better than the ones in the ground. In fact, it is loaded up and ripening up quite well. They're all kind of centered in the middle of the plant there. We've got some pods up top that are starting to come along. So pretty excited. I have not tried one of the orange nagas yet, but looking forward to that. I've got a few of the hot tie, the mini hot tie, and these little whiskey barrel type planters. Another plant, that crazy producer. As fast as I can pick the pods out of these whiskey barrels, these hot ties, is as fast as they produce. I mean, I pick them, come back a few days later, and they're loaded up again, and I've got 3 of them. This one needs a little bit more sunlight, bring it out a little bit, but couldn't be happier with how these have been performing. Got a ghost pepper plant here. Really not doing a whole lot. I have picked some peppers off of it. I have put some picks up on MeWe. Got a couple ripe pods and a handful or so, maybe more than a handful now that I look at it, that are coming along. Next to it is the William Beckham Golden Ghost in the sub-irrigation planter, and this one is loaded up. I've picked quite a few pods off of this. I just love this plant. I love the color, the size, the shape of these pods, and the heat is crazy good. Next to it, I've got a chocolate ghost, and I pruned this one back pretty good, and I've harvested quite a few pods off of it. It's produced pretty well. It takes quite a while for these to fully ripen, but I'm very pleased with this plant as well. Over here I've got a 7-pot yellow, and this thing is, wow, I mean, it is loaded up. Beautiful, beautiful pods. Look at the stingers on these guys here. Really looking forward to trying these 7-pot yellows. In these 3 planters here are my overwintered Carolina Reapers, and all 3 of these plants almost got knocked out during the overwintering, the hardening off process, sorry. But they slowly came back, and I mean, take a look here. This is just gorgeous. This is ready for harvesting this weekend. So these pods will go into the smoker and into the dehydrator. Gonna have some fun with that. This plant here, also producing not quite the same size pods or quantity, but we've still got a little time. We'll see how it comes along. I just did not think that this one was going to make it at all. So much to my surprise, we've had a couple pods there. Pepper in a can challenge, for those of you that are familiar with that and are involved with that. Mine aren't doing well. I don't know, they were doing okay for a while and then just kind of didn't do much at all. These that I have in these buckets here, I'm not even sure what they are. I had a bunch of extra plants, and when I kind of in a rush potted them up in these buckets, forgot to label them. I know that they're all super hot, so we'll just have to see what we get there. This is an overwintered cherry stuffer hybrid, another one that I didn't think was going to make it, but I kind of just let it do its thing, and it's really doing well. It's producing nicely, very thick-walled, sweet red pepper. I really like this one a lot. Again, not sure. I think this might be a golden ghost, maybe. Another Bill Beckham, another one I potted up and just forgot to label. Well, that's about it, guys, for the August 2019 Happy Pepper Grow Update. Hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below. I do like the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell if you'd like to be notified when the next video is released. So thanks again for watching, and happy growing.